I put up with this bullshit for 8 years, and this is what I get. This is what I get. Why did I expect better from this show? Who knows? So it is 2 o'clock on Friday post the Supernatural finale. Have I had time to process any of my thoughts? No. No, I have not. But you know what? We're gonna be a rambly hot mess anyways, so let's do it. So let's start with the fact that, no. You know what? I'm just gonna recap the episode, because I have no idea how to freaking talk about this. So it starts with Sam and Dean doing a montage of daily things, not at all processing what happened in the finale, or like the entire show at all. You would think that, the way the writers were talking about it, they were talking about how, like, they were gonna wrap up these, like, emotional arcs, the way it's made it seem. They didn't wrap up any emotional arcs. So, like I said, the episode starts and there's one quick mention of Cass by Sam, and Dean just brushes it right off, and that just pisses off me, little Destiel shipper. Actually, just straight up Cass fan. Cass is the best part of this show in the end. We all know it. The show would not have lasted as long as it did without Cass. Anyways, they find a case to work on. The case are vampires wearing clown masks. They say mimes, but it's clown masks. They're fighting Juggalo vampires. And so they find the Juggalo vampires. And they have this random chick from season 1. And I rewatched season 1 like last summer. I had no idea who this chick was. Like, literally at all. They're like, oh, hey, I recognize you. And for 2 seconds, I thought it was Katie Lotz. Like, I'm like, Katie Lotz? What are you doing here? It wasn't Katie Lotz. It was a random chick from an episode that no one remembered. They included a flashback, and you know what I thought? I still don't know who this is. Like, of all the characters from season 1 to bring back, you're gonna be random victim number 5? Like, girl, what are you thinking? So they kill her, and they start killing the Juggalo vampires. And as they're fighting, I notice a giant nail sticking out of the thing, and I'm just out of, like, the side of a barn, and 2 thoughts entered my head. Either 1, Dean is gonna get impaled on that, or 2, they're gonna use that in a cool way to kill off the vampires. Guess which one was correct? Dean dies by getting impaled on a nail. He got tetanus, as everyone is saying. It was so stupid. The guy has faced God, Lucifer, and a whole bunch of other fucking big bads. And this is what takes him out. This is the stupidest way he has died. He has died by taco before. He has died by a taco. Yeah, so he dies. He freaking dies. And so Sam goes off and is sad, and he, like, burns Dean's body. And then it shows Dean in heaven, and he meets with Bobby, and they explain, like, oh, this is how heaven works now. Everyone just, like, lives their lives, doing their best. And he reveals something that pisses me off. Not in, like, a, oh, it was so awful kind of way, but in a missed opportunity kind of way, which is basically the premise of this whole show. This whole show is just never-ending missed opportunities. So what happens is, he's explaining the rules of heaven, and then he's like, oh, yep, this was done by Jack, your child who became God. We're not even going to get into that one. And you know who helped? Cass! And immediately my brain went, oh my god, Cass is going to be in the episode. My favorite character is going to be in the episode. Like, this is going to make up for, like, however awful it's been so far. Cass was not in the episode. They didn't even acknowledge it. I I could rant forever about how they introduced this love confession 2 episodes to the end and then do nothing with it. They don't deal with any of the consequences. They don't acknowledge, like, how Dean felt. They don't even, like, have him tell Sam, oh, Cass was in love with me. I don't know how I feel. Like, that would have been better than, like, just straight up ignoring it. It was such bullshit. And apparently Misha was supposed to be in the episode. Misha Collins was supposed to be in the episode, but they didn't think it was worth it because he would have had to quarantine for like 2 weeks and then film for 1 day. I want to point out, they risked COVID for this finale. And it was so bad. Anyways, after Dean gets to heaven, we have a montage set to Carry On Wayward Son. Let me rephrase that. Set to 2 different versions of Carry On Wayward Son. The first half, it happens when Dean enters his car, which the car goes to heaven. The car goes to heaven, y'all. And he turns on the radio and Carry On Wayward Son, like the normal version, plays over a montage of him him driving while Sam is out there living his life. He names a kid after Dean and he marries a random woman. We don't even know if it was like his love interest for the season, Eileen. We don't know if it's her. It's just a random woman for all we know. Like, this is actually like a great example of supernatural sexism. Like, this woman who who is the wife of this character we have come to care about is not even named, and she's literally just there to show that he had a kid that he named after Dean. Okay, just a reminder, he named that kid after Dean. And it is the stupidest ending possible. Oh my god, there was this post on Tumblr that was like, Dean Castiel Winchester, you were named after the bravest man I've ever known. And oh my god. Like, I need Tumblr users to stop having prophecies, because honestly, it is sending me into another plane of existence. After the normal song ends, they introduce a cover of Carry On Wayward Son. Dean is still driving. Dean is still driving in heaven. And Sam is dying, and they're... It's like an Evanescence cover, but I'm not even sure if it's Evanescence or not. It was ridiculous. So as Dean finishes his drive, Sam dies, and the show ends with Dean in heaven, and then Sam joining him. They say hi to each other, and they look out over a bridge. And then it cuts to black, does like this the credits a little bit. And then it cuts to, hey, it's the actors, and they're thanking us for the 15 years. I feel like I just suffered a 15-year-long hate crime. This is one of the worst finales I've ever seen in my whole life. I've never watched all of Game of Thrones, but I saw the Game of Thrones finale because my sister asked me to. I had a pre-recorded version of like my initial like actual reaction to the episode. The best part of the episode was my sister making jokes about the whole supernatural finale. That was the best part of this whole episode, and I'm so upset that you don't get to hear her commentary because my computer lost the footage. So the Game of Thrones finale was bad. The How I Met Your Mother finale was awful. I watched every episode of that show when I found out it was ending, and I'm like, well, I better watch every episode because I'm a completionist like that. And the ending hurt me. But then there's also the Voltron finale, which, awful. Those last 2 made me cry because I was emotionally invested in the shows. Game of Thrones did not make me cry because I was not emotionally invested in Game of Thrones. But with the other 2, those finales at least built off of, like, what happened in the show previously. Like, they were bad. But, like, what happened before mattered. You could watch this episode of Supernatural. It would end up meaning nothing. Like, you don't need to watch another episode of Supernatural to watch the Supernatural finale. And, like, fine. This was, like, the original series of Star Trek, you can do that with, because it was the 1960s, and, like, story structure and all that was extremely different, versus now, where, like, seasonal long arcs, which Supernatural had a seasonal long arc, and they wrapped it up the episode beforehand, but there were still all these threads open, so we thought those threads are going to get fixed in the finale. We're going to talk about those. We're going to rescue Cass. We're going to something. Basically, everyone just wanted Cass back. And this is going to sound a little shallow, but I literally think having Cass in the episode would have just straight up made it better. I think it would forgive some of its bad stuff, because the way the writers were also talking about it was that, oh, it's about Sam and Dean and the family they built around them. The only other named character that appeared more than once in the show, in this episode, was Bobby. And I love Bobby. Bobby is their dad. He is better than their actual dad. He's their dad. But if it's just Bobby, what is the message here? Like, what even happened? And now I'm going to bring up Destiel, because, you know what, I've brought it up before. But, you know what, let's do it. This makes episode 18 even crueler, if you think about it, because at the end of episode 18, if you genuinely wanted Destiel to be canon, and you were like, hey, it's going to be canon, guys. This can still happen. They can bring Cass back, and then they'll end up together. Like, you still had that hope at the end of the episode. But this just proves that they only did it to get people back in. To get people back into the show. Because there are people who left. There are many people who left the show and didn't want to come back. But the second that, they just did that, so many more people were interested in to see what happened. And even the people who didn't necessarily care if Destiel was going to become canon wanted to watch the show to see if Destiel was going to become canon. You don't have a relationship in the show for 12 years. Suddenly have one confess that they're in love and not deal with that. It's fucked up and stupid. It's actually really, really cruel. And I think the funniest thing about all this is that Jensen Ackles, who plays Dean, warned us. He didn't straight up say, oh, the finale's bad, but he was at a con before COVID and all that, and told us that when the writers told him what their idea for the finale was, it wasn't sitting with him. So he was like, okay, what do I do? This doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like a good idea. This doesn't feel like the way to end the show. And so Eric Kripke eventually convinced him that, you know what, this is a good episode and you're too close. Jensen Ackles was right. Jensen Ackles knew that this was a bad episode. And I would like to apologize to Jensen Ackles for all those jokes I reblogged on Tumblr about him being homophobic. I'm sorry, Jensen. You don't know me, but I'm sorry. So the joke fan theory was that Jensen didn't like it because Destiel was going to be canon. No, Jensen just had taste. He just had taste, guys. That's all. That's all. And it's just gonna live in my brain for the rest of my life. Jenny Nicholson once said that the worst kind of ending is the kind of ending that makes you regret ever putting any emotional investment into it. And am I at the point, if it ended at episode 19, I would have gone, oh, that was bad. That was just straight up, that was normal, that would have been normal bad finale. That would have been Teen Wolf bad finale. But I don't think I would have regretted ever starting the show. And there's times where I don't regret starting the show because I had so much fun on Tumblr over all those years and the chaos and all of that. I don't know. My thoughts are kind of wrapped up here. Tumblr's still hilarious. I love everyone's reactions to this. That's still good. All of this has been One Lesbian's Opinion. You can like, share, comment, subscribe. Like I said last time, I didn't plan on having another rambly video, but you know what? It was just so bad, I had to. Don't forget to follow me on social media. I also have a coffee if you want to give a one-time donation so that I can move out of my parents' house. See y'all next time. Bye.